Philly fade shot, come on.
What's going on, man? How you? My guy. It's good, bro. Good to see you. Likewise.
Then he sent me on my way. Next stop, if you see me, say what's up. Politicking with my bros. Philly fade chop shot for the cuts. Chop it up. If you see it, say what's up. Next up, couple topics to discuss. Philly fade.
Be able to catch a drop like this. Yeah. How would they go about?
Life and kicks with Nick, fresh fit for the vibes. Tuskegee alum and the founder of So Die, Nick Smith 101, PHILLY. He can sum it up quick, so don't be asking who am I.
Every opportunity you have, you shout out them Golden Tigers. Every opportunity. So
definitely.
So what exactly did you go to school for?
Yeah, so the Golden Tigers is from Tuskegee University. They're based out of Tuskegee, Alabama. I actually went to school originally for architecture, and then going into my sophomore year, I switched from architecture to a dual major in sales and marketing and business administration. So
Now pause there. Why the switch?
So I actually, coming out of high school and even before high school, I was I guess artistic. I could draw really well. A lot of people were telling me, a combination of math and being able to draw, that architecture would be a good field to go into. And
So outside influence.
yeah, absolutely. And then once I actually got into it, and I mean, your freshman year, you just end up drawing so much that you lose a love for it. And so I ended up switching. And as a kid, my grandmother and I, we used to always watch commercials, like TV commercials. And we would, decide who had the best commercial or the funniest commercial. So I was like, sales and marketing might be a field or a career that I want to get into. So that's why I switched.
Okay. So when you changed your major, did you have this particularly in mind?
No, not at all. I mean, I always had a passion and love for sneakers, but I never knew that would lead me to where I am today or right now. It was just, just doing what the best decision that I had with the information that I had at the time. So I knew I liked marketing, I knew I liked commercials, so I figured I would major in that and just see where it takes me.
Okay. I like how, I want to give you some kudos to actually realizing that what you were going to school for isn't what you actually wanted, and you got up out of there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people stick through it, and now you got a degree in something that you're not even interested in.
You're wasting your time and your money. So I mean, you're majoring in something and you don't like it, or you don't think it has a long-term solution for you, I would encourage anyone to change it and find something that they're passionate about. I would even go beyond that and say, college and secondary education isn't for everybody. Some people are better off, working with their hands as opposed to sitting in the classroom all day. So just find something you're passionate about, find a mentor that's in the field, and even make your own path.
Was entrepreneurship in mind when you switched?
No, not at all. I mean, I come from a blue-collar family. Both my parents always worked 2 jobs, and so without even knowing it, I was kind of trained to go into the workforce, work 20 years and retire. Entrepreneurship wasn't something that came to my mind until later on, probably even as recent as like 5 or 6 years ago.
If that's what recently came into this, I guess you could call it inspired action, where along the blue collar travels in working did you say I can do this?
Yeah, so once I graduated from Tuskegee, so I was born and raised in Alabama, a small city called Phoenix City, Alabama, about an hour and a half south of Atlanta, Georgia. And when I graduated, I had the opportunity to work for a company that was headquartered out of Omaha, Nebraska. So I moved to Omaha. I lived there and worked there for 10 years. I progressed well, got promoted well, but at some point I realized I didn't really have control over my career. It's up to other people to promote me and things of that nature. So at some point I had a realization that eventually I had to be my own boss, and that's where the entrepreneurship route kind of sprouted from. And from there, it was just more so a scenario of what can I do, what am I passionate about, and how can it make money? That's the biggest thing.
How could you encourage someone that's going along this path of entrepreneurship? Or better said, what words of encouragement would you give them if they're considering entrepreneurship?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first step is to just, dip your toe in the water, get out there and get a feel of it. You can get somebody else's advice or experience, but it's really nothing like you yourself stepping out on your own and trying it out and just get a feel for it. So with social media and all the resources that we have today with YouTube and Google, you can pretty much find whatever information that you need on the web to at least start it. I mean, if you start on a small scale, there's really no risk. You like it, you continue, you scale up, and if you don't like it, you know, you didn't lose anything. So,
Now, what challenges were you facing along this path of transitioning into entrepreneurship? And then how did you go about, overcoming those?
yeah, so I mean, me personally, I'm not a full-time entrepreneur. It's something that I still do as a part-time gig or on the side. So I still have the stability of working my full-time job, you know, which provides me with, you know, the revenue and the resources that I need so I can be even more aggressive in my entrepreneurial efforts. I would tell any don't quit cold turkey and go 100% into entrepreneurship unless you know that's something that you're ready to do. Like I said, like dip your toe in it. Like I said, I didn't quit my job. I'm still working. So my main job, I'm a director of sales and marketing in the railroad industry. So I have an established book of customers on the East Coast from Maine all the way down to Florida. It gives me the opportunity to travel. I also have a budget, so I'm used to, you know, dealing with other people's money, negotiating contracts, building relationships. So those are all skill sets that I tie into my own business. And the best part about it is I didn't have to spend my own money to get those skill sets. So to answer your question, I would say to anyone, you know, think about keeping your main job. It relieves the pressure of you having to go 100% into your own business, and also gives you different skill sets that you can take and use in your own business.
Very useful. A lot of people, to your point, feel as though, I want to sell products or I want to open this business and I'm gonna just cold turkey quit, or feel as though I have backup or I have aid and family or resources. So it looks easy, or because there's resources out there, YouTube and seminars and such. It could give you that false belief that I can do this and start right now,
Right.
Without, making sure you have that safety net of the 9 to 5. You have to tilt the seesaw from the 9 to 5 to the entrepreneurship. But I like how you keep the day job, and the day job allows you to basically, do what you want with the entrepreneurship realm.
Yeah, I would say too that, especially on social media, people over glamorize the entrepreneurship route. They make it seem, really sexy and it's the way to go, but I can tell you firsthand that it's hard. It's hard as hell, especially when you don't have a blueprint and you're just doing things on your own. So, I mean, the work is definitely worth it eventually, but it's work. It's hard work. I mean, even myself having to get an LLC, having to trademark my logos, having to create content every day. You add that on top of working a full-time job and being a father of 2 and being married. That doesn't even include any of your, things that you just like to do in your spare time. It can really be demanding. So that's why I encourage anyone to kind of take baby steps into it.
So that's a nice transition. You brought up your LLC. Now, Soul Die. Where did this come from? What drove you to it? And might I interject here? That is fire. Compliments of Soul Die.
Appreciate that.
Hook Chop Shop up.
No doubt.
Shout out DTLR for sponsoring this episode of Next Stop. So yes, tell us about this.
Yeah, so Soul Die is a bespoke, I hate to say tie-dye because it's really not tie-dye. I don't do any tying within the process, but for lack of better words, it's a bespoke tie-dye business. And essentially we used, vibrant colors in a way to make tie-dye material. And so we don't take the traditional route. What we do, we take powder dye. It's cold activated, so we use ice as a medium. And so a combination of the powder dye along with ice creates, some of the soulful patterns that you see on your shirt, as well as some of the other garments that we provided. For the most part, I do collaborations. I'm more like of a behind the scenes business. So you won't necessarily see my name on all of the pieces that I produce, but I've done collabs with Amir James. I've done collabs for...
I got my one-on-one. South Soul Die. They made
Shout out to LinkedIn.
Earn Your Leisure. I've also had my own pieces that I've done for WWE wrestler.
Kofi Kingston?
Yep. And so yeah, I kind of Stumbled into it, man. It was right before COVID. My kids wanted to do some tie-dye. And I was like, all right, let's do it. But I wanted to do something different than what you see traditionally. So, like I said, I started looking up different methods. And the first t-shirt that I made, first hoodie that I made came out so hard that I was about to pause. But the first one that I made came out so decent that I was like, all right, let me try it again. So I went to my local Nike outlet and I bought like all the white hoodies that they had. I think it was like 8 or 9 of them. I dyed them, I put them on my IG stories, and immediately people was asking to buy them. So I think I had like a proof of concept. So I was like, all right, let me see if I can do it again. So I went back to the outlet. Next time they didn't have hoodies, they had shorts and dad caps. So I bought all the ones that they had. Same thing, put it on my IG stories. They sold out same day. So that was when the light bulb went off in my head, like, okay, we can have like an actual business here. Long story short, man, I did that for probably like 6 months, and everything I did was, sold out, 100% sell out, to the point where we saw Nike and other brands starting to replicate what I was doing. They started producing tie-dye kits that you can buy with hoodies and kind of make your own stuff. And it was at that point I was like, all right, instead of me using my business to promote another brand, I would just promote my own brand or just do collaborations with people that I know and have respect for their brand. So, been doing it for about 3 years now. Yeah, that's how we got to the point where we are today.
You worked in a Nike outlet?
Yeah. So previously,
work history?
Yeah, when I lived in Omaha, I worked for Nike part-time. So same thing, I was still working in the railroad industry full-time. Didn't have any kids yet. I might have been engaged to my wife or fiance at the time, and I've always been a hustler, man. Like I said, I saw both my parents always worked 2 jobs, so I always try to find a second job that would give me a discount. Obviously, I have a passion for kicks, so yeah, I worked at Nike for about 5 years at the outlet.
So I'm gonna need that biggest pet peeve of working in that industry. The biggest thing that got me is when I'm on the floor and a customer comes in. He says, yo, can I have this in a size 8? Yo, all we got is a size 6 in that. Oh man, you got an 8.5? All I got is a size 6 in that.
I can see that.
Oh man, well yo, let me get a 7 then. Yo, it's like, dog, are you not listening to me?
Yeah.
Like the comprehension level, that was my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Of having to repeat myself that is the only size of that shoe that I have.
I can see that.
What's yours?
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, I had such a good time when I was working at the outlets. Like I said, it was a low-stress job. I met a lot of homies out there, and I wasn't doing it full-time, so I didn't have the same stress that someone doing it every day, all day would have. I would say, like, Black Friday is like, it's a different beast. At least at that point it was.
Yeah.
I mean, we would get in and we would start at like 11 p.m. the night before, and then maybe get off at like 7, 8 the next morning, and then come back for another shift. So I would say that was part of it, but it was fun, man. The dudes that I worked with, the dudes and women that I worked with, they were hilarious, man. We had a great time, so we try to keep it as light as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it was always the customers for me.
Yeah.
I love the people. All right.
I mean, the discount outweighed it, all that kind of stuff, man. 40% off.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I accumulated so many shoes too.
I mean, at times I had paychecks that was like $8.
Oh yeah, I mean, my check went straight to shoes. I don't
Yeah.
I mean, but I knew that going into it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm just here long enough to make sure my discounts
Right.
Active.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, champs. Now, I like to highlight anybody that's doing any type of work in the community and especially giving back. I've seen you in a few different classrooms over the, I would say, 2 years that I've followed you. So could you speak to, what you're doing in there with the students, with the kids?
Yeah, no doubt. So obviously I have a passion for sneakers and kicks, and as a kid, I didn't know that I could grow up and be like a sneaker designer or be a footwear color designer or things like that. So I just saw the opportunity for me to, find a way to give back, but also be authentic in doing that. So I had one of my followers, Miss Arby, reach out, who's an art teacher. And she asked if I would be open to just coming in and speaking to her art class and telling her about, sneaker design, some of the shoes I've created, and also just some of the paths that a student can take after high school and college to, go into the sneaker industry. So I'm going on my 3rd year doing it. I've also partnered with some of the local programs here in Pottstown as well. But long story short, I'm just trying to use some of the gifts and talents that I have and just open up the eyes of some of the students and kids that I work with to some of the avenues they can go to after high school.
Okay. That's very commendable. And on behalf of the kids and the teachers and students and everyone, I thank you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Where do you see two separate questions. Where do you see Soul Die in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right now I'm working on probably my 6th or 7th installment of a collab with Amir James. We have some crew necks that are coming out, had to promote that. The collabs that we've done have kind of gone worldwide. Carmelo Anthony has had on some, Ricky Smiley, Currency, Benny the Butcher. So if you would have asked me 3 years ago do I expect to be where I am now, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. So it's kind of hard to say where I'll be in 5 years. I just know I love being creative. I feel like I'm really good with colors, and so I'm just going to continue to utilize that talent, and wherever that takes me, it'll be great.
Okay. Sneaker game. Where do you see that in the next 3 to 5? Because I seen not only the Nike ID have you and your particular creations available on there, right?
Yeah.
Two of them? 2 or 3?
So Nike actually reached out to me, it's probably be a year ago, and I've had somewhat of a relationship with them on how to enhance the Nike By You program, Nike ID program, 3D simulator that you see on your phones, and Nike apps provided some feedback on how to make it better. And so they reached out to me and just said, hey, we'd love to give you early access to some new designs that we're coming out with. Get your feedback, also allow you to make a shoe so that your audience can see it. So we did that. I created actually 4 different designs. The one that was probably most popular was the John Witherspoon Air Max 97s, which for me was, so I made that shoe. Also made one that was inspired by a recent trip that my family and I took to Bermuda. They're known for their pink beach sands, and so I made a shoe that was inspired by that as well. So they allowed me to just make that shoe, and people can actually go into the Nike app, Nike website, and buy that actual shoe that I created. So that was pretty dope. And then you asked about where I see myself in shoes 5 years from now.
Yeah, with sneaker game.
Yeah, I've actually been transitioning out of so-called hype beast type of kicks, the shoes that everybody wants, and I've really just more so focused on the Nike By You, Nike ID, sneakers that I like, that I've created, that I don't have to worry about anyone else having. The biggest thing for me, especially as a kid, was like, I wanted to have a pair of shoes that no one else had. Back in the days, we had Penny Hardaway, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas. I mean, all these guys had their own shoes, and so you can go to school and everyone will have on something different, where nowadays everybody wants to kind of blend in and wear the same type of stuff. That's just never been the way that I function. So I've been focused on just making shoes that I like, that speak to me, and just been doing that.
Okay. We can look forward to the Life with Kicks collection on Nike.com in the next 5 years.
Who knows, man? I mean, I don't even want to limit myself to just Nike. I see what J-Tips just did with his Saucony brand. He's dropped some dope kicks. I've always had an affinity for New Balance, so I'm not limiting myself to just Nike. Also, although that would be super dope, I would welcome the opportunity. But I'm open for business to anyone that's looking.
Okay, so you mentioned New Balance. What are some other brands that you like?
Really, that's pretty much, as far as my collection, Nike and New Balance make up 100% of it.
Okay.
And that's just like the shoes that, like I said, growing up, Penny Hardaway was my favorite player. Obviously, Michael Jordan was up there, and you kind of just tend to go towards the Nike brand. But as I've gotten older, I mean, you see some of the brands that are new, even some of the Asian brands, the Way of Wade, what they've done with Dwayne Wade, and Ante, who has, I believe, Klay Thompson, a couple of these other brands. Under Armour has done some big things. So, I mean, the world is huge now in terms of sneakers. Even if you look at what has kind of crossed over into the golf world and how golf sneakers have now become cool, there's so many opportunities out there.
Get you up out of here. Check it out.
Yes, sir.
How's the fade?
Perfect.
Yeah, bet.
Back in the game.
Now it's John Witherspoon. That's the one I really had on my list. Coming here, I said, yo, I gotta talk to him about this. I gotta see this in person.
Yeah.
As soon as you hop about this chair,
You want to see
so I'm
it?
looking for it.
I got you.
While I'm around here though, I'm seeing a lot of just, I don't know if it's cheetah, if it's cowhide, if it's monkey fur. It's a lot of different textures and patterns.
Yeah.
I like the versatility.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, man, when you look down at my feet, my goal is always to have on something that no one else would. Where some people are, you know, kind of afraid of different textures and patterns and colors. I've kind of just embraced it. So, to your point, you might see some giraffe fur, you might see some tiger fur, you might see some, I mean, anything that I can't even remember all the ones that I have over there now, but it's a few different ones. Yeah, I got all kind of different textures: horsehair, giraffe hair, you know, all kind of stuff, man.
All right, let's check them out. So, for anybody watching, as you continue to make shoes, if they want to be up on what's coming next and also be able to catch a drop like this, how would they go about, you know, following along, so they don't miss out like they did on this?
Yeah, just follow me on IG. It's Life and Kicks with Nick. That's Life A-N-D Kicks with Nick. I try to post, you know, a couple times a week. I also offer free render services. So if someone is like, they want to have a shoe of their own, but they don't know how to design or they need some tips, they can reach out to me via DM and I'll design something for them for free. Send it over to them. All they have to do is order it. So I've done that on numerous occasions as well.
All right.
Thinking with my bros, Philly fade, chop, shot for the cuts. Chop it up. If you see it, say what's up. Next up, couple topics to discuss.